Okay, welcome back to day 273. Honestly, I don't even know if you guys have gotten anything out of this last, who knows how many videos. I feel like I ain't doing nothing, but I guess I never do anything. So, anyways, the point was, last video, I guess last one, I was uploading it, and I saw that apparently, hey, I'm missing my black nails already. I feel boring. Look at this. Boring. No, nothing on, none, nothing. Anyways, point was, I was putting up my video, and I was putting it up where I edited it, and it, instead of saving what I wrote in one of the edits of saying close enough, it changed it to just back to being like, enter words here. And I'm like, so part of me like, oh no, what if in a previous video I didn't catch that and it just de-edited like volume or cuts or words? And I'm just like, you can't just unedit something that I saved to be edited. So like part of me is like, what if one of them is just really quiet? And I'm like, because usually what I do is I go in, edit the numbers at the back, and then loud, and like if there's another cut, loud. And then, and I know you're saying, what is the shush. Okay, no one asked you. I try really hard, okay? Shush. And just unedited. Like, boy, I edited for a reason. Pictures, I put pictures in sometimes. I'm just like, excuse me. Anyways, the point was that, yeah, did I mention I cut, I don't know if it happened when, I cut the sleeves off of my shirt. So I'm gonna wash it tomorrow, so I can wear it when I'm out of town. That just says, y'all need Jesus. I wanna dye it black, because right now it's like a blue, which is fine, but I think a nice black on it. The problem is the y'all need Jesus is like plastic, but it kind of is like one of those ripped plastic piece. I don't know. So part of me is like, it should be fine. Part of me is scared that I'm gonna accidentally just dye the words black as well, and they're not gonna look good. But I feel like the thing is, if I dyed a different color, I'd be like, oh well, it's white, is gonna be slightly off anyways than the blue of the shirt being dyed black. But I don't know. So I cut the sleeves off. I'm going to keep them for crafting purposes, but I might dye one of them black. Solely to test out how it would work on this shirt. But it should be pretty great, like pretty good. Like it's a classic t-shirt, so it should be fine. I need to think out, we're only going to be gone for like 3 days out of town, but I need to figure out if I want to how many clothings of which kind, blah blah blah. So I want to try to think that through. What am I wearing? Because part of me is like, haha, booty out, fun. But then part of me is like, ooh, you know what booty out means? Thighs touching. Thighs in general, okay. Thighs touching and rubbing as you're walking gives you chub rub. I get chub rub so fast. So one time we went to a theme park, and my siblings were like, yeah, my thighs are a little, no, like mine were red and angry. And I'm like, showed my siblings, like, no, when I say I got chub rub, I don't mean I got chub rub, I mean I got chub rub, and it hurt so bad. So like I got like put into shorts for sleeping, and I just like held a water bottle in my thighs because I'm just like, it hurt so bad. I don't know if that was a good idea because like it's irritated, and like the water bottle wasn't 100% clean, like, but it wasn't cuts, so it should be fine. I mean, that was years ago, but anyways, so I'm gonna bring so many sunblocks as well because, oh boy, when I say, if I step outside in the sun for 2 seconds, I'm scared. Yeah, shout out to my tattoo artist. He was doing white detail work on it. He's like, yes, the white will go away, but it should be okay for a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm like, you know, how long do you think I need before I touch it up, blah, 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 this personal thing. And he was just like, oh, and he kind of just flipped my arm over and like looked, and he's just like, you should be okay for a while. And I'm like, screw you. He's just like, yeah, I can tell by your arm that you don't get that much sun, so you're good. And I'm just like, yes, you are correct, but you don't have to be rude about it. No, he was very, very sweet. He was a very sweet tattoo artist, and he made a joke because it was out of state, and he knew it. And he's like, oh, are you going to come back to get touched up? And I'm like, girl, yes, I literally will come back to your shop. And this is the owner of the shop, so like, your shop. I will come back to get it touched up when it needs to be touched up. I literally had nightmares where my tattoos are getting touched up, but they get ruined. Like, I've had that nightmare, and I'm just like, no. So, I mean, it was more to it because it was a dream, but like, still. So I have had nightmares of just me being like, completely ruin my tattoo because it wasn't done by the same person. So my gnome guy, that's what I was kind of scared of, like getting him touched up, but I think I really should, just the tiny bits, and like try to work it. But I want I want to get a new tattoo here. I used to have 2 freckles on this arm, or 3 of them. I don't think he tattooed over it. I think it just disappeared. I think it should be right here. That's so weird. I have freckles on my arm. Maybe it's here. I don't know. Especially in this last year, I have not gotten enough outside sun. I used to like at least just drive in the sun, be outside, but this year it's like inside. I was thinking when I was going back and being like, oh god, gotta go out of town now for this, and having to do so many days in advance, but I realized that there's no way in hell this right here could have worked if it was any other year. If COVID wasn't still strong, this could not have happened right there, because because the jobs are, not be poppin'. But my sibling also got a job out of school, which is a big thing. But we're like, kids can't get vaccinated yet, and it's going to be an elementary school. So it's like, kids aren't vaccinated yet. We are, and we're obviously going to be safe. But like, a school, in-person school, and kids can't be vaccinated is probably one of the most dangerous, like, or worrying. So, my siblings like, wait, was this a bad idea? And, because I trust us, but I do not trust some people around here. Like, people have openly just been like, I'm not vaccinated and I'm not going to be, and I'm going to go out without a mask on. And I'm just like, girl, just please just take care. Like the other weeks ago now, I guess, where we went on a date thing, and there were people with Trump shirts, Trump hats, Trump stuff. No one wearing a mask. You think those are the people that are vaccinated? No. Also, it's very funny because for a good while, we're like, they're on a church trip, aren't they? I know the feeling. They're on a church trip. But I guess it wasn't a church trip. It was a Republican trip. I guess, like, church trip. Republican trip. But it was just, like, weird that, I'm desensitized to this freaking video. Anyways, so what happened is that it was just so funny because we're like, oh, these are definitely church trip people because we used to be church trip people, and I look like this. No, I don't. I just, yeah, that's my biggest fear is when I tell people that I'm like, no, I'm not like that. I'm not. I'm good with all that. If people will be like, look at this person, this is what happens if you don't stay a Christian. But, you know, it is what it is. Listen, it just, oh. Yeah. This seals your destiny. God. It's like, oh yeah, what I was saying, this if we had normal jobs, if we could have had people moving out and doing all that, and all that situation, and driving, like all that, there's no way in hell this would have worked. My aunt and family co, they went on vacation to a different state, like for multiple days, on an airplane. Like, nah. And we're just worried about going to a hotel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're worried about, going out of town in a hotel. Do not do, like, yeah, at the beginning of pandemic, I needed my blood drawn. Not the beginning, but like close to the beginning of pandemic, I needed my blood drawn. So I went and I got my blood drawn, and she's like, oh my god, like, this, like, pandemic. And I'm like, girl, I know you're a nurse, like, well, like, imagine, like, dang, like, nah, like, that sucks. And she's just, 2020 was a weird year. Yeah, good year for Ethan. But what happened is, anyways, point was that I was like, yeah, you know, and you're a nurse, like, I bet you've seen everything. And she's like, yeah, blah blah, everything. And I'm like, yeah. And she's taking my blood, and it's taking a while, not the longest, but, you know, she's just doing her thing, getting a bunch of blood. And so what happened is, she goes, yeah, and guess what happened this morning? Because it was almost, oh, I remember, it was almost my birthday. Her birthday was very similar to mine. And she was like, oh, so it must have been almost a year ago. And so what happened is, she was like, yeah, and I, you know, got surprised by my boyfriend with airplane tickets this morning. Like, he just showed up, and he showed me his email, and he got airplane tickets to the Bahamas or something, like some place. And I'm just like, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? And, like, out of the United States. And it's like, yeah, and we're gonna go there for my birthday. Oh my god. And I'm like, no vaccines are out yet. So, like, no vaccines. It was September of last year. It was not good. It was thousands of cases. I was, like, I didn't even, after getting my blood drawn, I didn't even want to go a lot of other places or any other place just in case, because, like, I had to sit in the chair there for them to take my blood. So I'm like, do I want to have that possibility? So I would come home, I changed, I washed my hair, I, like, splashed my face and hair with water, like, in the sink, and do, like, that was a lot, but, like, just to be safe, and no one in I live with 4 other people. If one of us got sick, we're all getting sick. We share a kitchen, we share bathrooms, like, there's no way, like, we eat the same food, there's no way one of us would not get sick. And so it's like, we were planning, like, okay, if someone gets it, who goes to the hotel room when you're sick? Would there be one sacrificial lamb to help you? Like, how would we do things? Would one person just get a hotel and, like, get sick, stay sick for as long as COVID is in their system? Like, a month? Like, that's a very long time. Like, what do we do? How would we try to combat that, to have you quarantine? Because if we share one bathroom, how are you going to quarantine 100%? Like, away from the other person, like, blah blah. I don't even, at this point, technically, I don't think it was even confirmed that it was an airborne disease yet, or virus yet, even so I think there was the hypothesis, but it wasn't technically never tested at this point. So it was a lot. And that was when my mom started to cough from a different thing, but they got tested and it wasn't COVID, but she had infection of her lungs, so she had to do 2 rounds of anti-infection medicine, and it was a huge thing. Anyway, the point was, like, it was not the time for you, the nurse, to be taking my blood and being around so many different people and then going on vacation, like, in less than 2 weeks. So it's like you weren't even going to quarantine for 2 weeks. Also, would you have quarantined yourself after? Did you go straight back to work? This is why, after getting my blood drawn, I was so worried, because I was scared of the nurse touching a bunch of different people, the chair touching a bunch of different people. Like, if ever was one person is that flip it with the rules, then they're just, you know? So, like, after I went to Thanksgiving with my fam, 2 weeks quarantine. After hanging out for just 1 day with fam, like my aunt and cousins and stuff, 2 days quarantine, there's 2 days, 2 weeks quarantine, 2 weeks quarantine, 2 weeks quarantine, 2 weeks quarantine. We were planning to quarantine again, after, to make sure, like, after this going out of the, city. But, like, I don't know if my aunt did that when she came back from out of state on an airplane. 2 weeks quarantine. I do not want to see you in the grocery store if you just got off an airplane. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not, because somebody who's vaccinated, touching things, touching other things, you can get someone who is not vaccinated. Again, anyone under 16? We know younger people get it. My 17-year-old cousin's friend, who's 17, had COVID. Younger people can get it, and if a 17-year-old can get it, anyone under 16 can get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh.